This is Mark Kramer, host of Asian Founders and Funders and Senior Lecturer of Entrepreneurship at Vin University. Today, our guest is Aranuch Lerdsuwankij, whose nickname is Mimee, and we're so glad to have her. She is the founder of Techsauce, which runs global summits. Mimee, welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, thank you for having me as one of your panelists at your conference in Ho Chi Minh City a couple of months ago. That was great fun, and I made amazing contacts, but I learned a lot at that conference as well, which has been helping me a lot in my teaching at Vin University. So I'm just so glad to have the opportunity to interview you. So before we talk about your company, why don't you give us some background about how you got to where you are right now?
For current situation or in the past?
Or how you got to where you're at right now professionally?
I see. Actually, like my background is an engineering, and like spent almost like 12 years with like a big corporate before, and make the decision to running my own companies. And actually, like Techsauce is my fourth company already.
Oh, so you were an engineer. What kind of engineer were you?
Telecommunication engineer.
And how long did you do that for before you started your own business?
Oh, I work with big corporate more than 12 years and have the experience to run my own companies for 13 years. So in total, working experience like almost 25 years already.
So what would make you leave a good job at a big company that you've been doing for 12 years to start your own company? I mean, that's a huge risk.
Yeah, it's a huge risk, but at that time I'm still like 30 years old, still have the opportunity to take risk. But right
Right.
now, if I made decision at the 45, currently I'm 45 years old already. So it's quite hard for me to make that decision.
And so what made you leave engineering to run an events company? I mean, it's totally different than what you were trained for.
It's a good question. Actually, like work as an engineer, um, when I work with a big corporate, actually I'm not like a pure engineer who like a programmer is not like that. But what I trying to do is I made decision that I would like to be the project manager. So as a project manager inside the big corporate, I think it's one of the good experience that can grow me today as a tech entrepreneur right now. So I think that it's like a connecting the dots, not just like have the technical background, but at the same time would like to manage the project. So managing the project is quite similar to managing the companies.
Did this background as a project manager help you?
Yeah, helped me a lot because I have to plan the resource, like the human resource, and also the financial projection, and also how to manage the budget properly, and how to deal with the team, like marketing and product manager, and also the customer as well. So this kind of the skill set helped me a lot in when I'm the entrepreneur.
And what do you like most about being an entrepreneur?
The challenge part, right? The biggest challenge in my opinion is like as the founder, I think when I start the companies last 15 years ago as a bootstrapping is I think it's at that time we have to focusing on how to build the product to serve the customer. But for me, the customer at the Techsauce is like a startup because we are the tech ecosystem builder to support the startup. But once I have to scale my companies at the Series A and raise for the next round, I think the skill set required involved significantly at a different stage of growth. For example, like managing 3 people is totally different skill set of managing 10 people 30 people, and even like now it's almost 100 people. So each state demand a unique skill set for the entrepreneur.
And that's right. I remember you have 100 employees.
Almost 100.
I mean, you've got to be one of the biggest business technology event companies in Thailand.
Yeah, but actually not just only one business model, because we also have the media portal. We also have the accelerator program to support the startup, and also have the another part is related to a investment.
So you also have your own venture fund?
Exactly.
Wow. So there's a lot to unravel there. You've got so many different things going on.
Yeah.
So why did you pick to go into the events business? Like, what made you think that that would be a really good business to go into?
It's a good question, because when I start the communities, actually I start from the media portal first, but to engage the communities like with the deep connection, with the deep collaboration, I think have a meetup face to face meeting physically is very important. So building the communities, we need to meet the people. So we start from the small meetup. At that time, it's something like 60 people in 2012 in a co-working space at that time, to gathering all the startup and venture capitals who want to network with each other. But right now we scale up the event from 100 people. Currently is the 20,000 people from,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, from 60 countries. So we scale up. It's not too fast for me, because we need time like almost 10 years to develop this event platform.
Did you develop your own software and back end for your company? I mean, is it all proprietary what you've developed?
We have a part of it, but not all of them. We have our own startup directory database, which is our own proprietary platform. But when we develop the business matching, sometimes we still work with our partner, because we cannot do everything by ourselves. So I think working with partner is a good strategy at this moment, after, especially after COVID.
Understood. And how long did it take you to get to 100 employees? Because that's a pretty big number.
Yeah, we have the full-time staff, almost 70 people, and 30 people as a contract and like an outsource.
So some of your people are contractors that you bring in.
Yeah, exactly. For during the event, but for the full-time staff, we have some like 60 to 70 people.
Still a very large organization to go and manage that many people. And
Yeah, but
especially,
yeah.
what's your management style? Because you can't be too much of a micromanager to have that many people.
Mm, Actually, I'm quite flexible in terms of management. When I mentioned that about my leadership style, I would like to emphasize for a few things like moving fast, learning from the failure, and also like using those lessons to continuously improve. So all of these three things come together. I call it in short like agility and resilience. So this is the way that how I manage my team.
So how much do engineering principles go into how you operate?
This is a good one. I think study in engineering faculty teach me a lot in part of the critical thinking, and also the way how to solve the problem. So once I start my own company, uh, when I'm facing the biggest challenge, I try to figure out what is the root cause and jump into that root cause and find the solution to solve this particular problem. So this is the way that how we think as an entrepreneur.
So what's the profile of the right type of employees that work for you? Like, what do you look for in people when you're looking to hire them?
For me, the most important thing is they should have the growth mindset. we have like there are like a three combination when we evaluate the staff: mindset, skill set, and tool set. I think skill set and tool set we can train, but the growth mindset is very hard. So when during the interview, we have I prioritize in part the growth mindset first, and after that, if they have the growth mindset, I believe that we can train them in part of the how to upskill and reskill them.
And so you have three different businesses. You have the events business.
Yeah.
That was the first business. What was the second business you got into?
The first one is for media, the event, and another part is accelerator program to support the startup.
And
And
so,
yeah,
and you invest in startups.
yeah. And
How much do you typically invest on average?
oh,
And what do you look for in the entrepreneurs you invest in?
as an angel investor, there are like two part for the investment as an angel investor as well. I invest somewhere like the ticket size is not too big. It's like somewhere like $300K US. It's somewhere
Uh-huh.
this. Yeah, yes, this part. But for the venture capitals, we target at the Series A's, like Series A above, somewhere like 1 million.
That you invest.
Yeah, it's a fund. This is a fund for the
Yes.
fund.
And
Yeah.
did you raise, how big a fund did you raise? What's the size of your fund?
Currently, we are still like trying to raise with the LP, still ongoing, but we target to have like 50 million US.
Wow. And you're the managing partner of that fund?
Yeah, we are the managing partner. It's like a GP of that fund together with my partner. And not just only one GP. There are like three GP that working together.
And what do you invest in? Is there certain types of technology or what's your focus?
For me, I focus on AI technology, but for my partner, they focus on the climate tech and uh, especially for the solution that focus on the B2B, business to business model, because I have a strong connection with the big corporate. Once we invest, it's not just only provide the financial part, but at the same time try to find the way how to do the synergy with our LP as well. So it's the way that how we support the startup.
Well, I think if you can't help your companies beyond just giving them a check, you're wasting money. I always, because I work with angel investors, I started the world's first formally organized investor angel network. And I always tell angels,
Mhm.
if you can't help in sales, don't bother investing because otherwise you've reduced your chances of getting a good return on your money.
Mm. Mhm.
And the investors
Yeah.
that you found to be the entrepreneurs that you found to be successful to invest in, what's the profile look like? What are they like?
Um, for me, I think that the most important thing is they have the strong commitment what they want to do, and also focus on the solution that they are trying to solve. So at the growth stage, late stage, at the Series A and Series B above, I prefer them to not just only focus on their own market. They should think about regionally. So in Southeast Asia or maybe like North Asia, instead of just only focus on okay, if they target China mainland, I think it's quite big enough, or Indonesia is quite big enough. But if they think just only like in Thailand, I think it's not big enough for them. So they might need to think about the market side.
Isn't that why Israel has 130 unicorn companies
Uh-huh.
and Singapore has 30 unicorn companies? Is it because I think it might be because their markets are so small that they're um, required to think globally.
Mm.
Is that I think that's an asset for them, an advantage that they are forced to think globally every time they launch a product or service. It
Yeah,
can't be just
totally
local.
agree. Yeah, totally agree. So I think that is it will be good for the founder if they since day one, think globally is very important, but might need to like dominate the market, their own market. But if they think just like only dominate just only one market, I think that is not enough right now for the digital, especially for the tech company.
When you invest, do you take a minority position, and does the company need to have income before you invest?
This is quite a challenge for the founder at this moment, but we prefer them to have at least the traction. For example, like contract or agreement with the big corporate or secure some the deal. Yep.
So you have to know that somebody's willing to buy this product or service, or what's the point of
Yeah.
buying into it? You don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to be the ones that have to help them get the first client, unless you saw
Mm-hmm.
something incredibly unique about whatever the technology is and felt that you could make a different differentiation in them. When you are an investor, what kind of help do you give your companies?
The companies mean the startup or for the corporate side?
The startups that you work with, what kind of support do you give them?
In terms of the traction, if the LP, they are like a big corporate, right? So we can help them in part of connect with them in term and help them in part of the POC, like doing the proof of concept. This is the first thing. And the second thing, because we have the media portal, we also have the event, so we can help them to create more awareness. So it's the way that how can we help them? Yep.
And so when you started your business, and I'm assuming nobody knew who you were, how did you build your visibility and get your first clients?
Oh, back in 10 years ago, it's very hard. It's a very good question, but it's very hard for me to connect with the others. During that time, I'm like a still small company in Thailand. So what we're trying to do is we met many people and join many tech conference outside Thailand, for example, in Japan or in Indonesia or in Singapore, to create the visibility by maybe like set up the booth there or trying to connect over the business matching activities to and also like joining the pitching session as well to create more exposure. So I think for startup, it will be good if they just not stay just only in their office. They should go outside and meet the people at the tech event. Is one of the good opportunity to connect and create more exposure for them.
Did you come from a business background? And I mean, was your family in business?
Yes, my dad, he has his own company, but has got bankrupt during like 30 for almost 40 years ago.
So what did you learn by your dad going bankrupt?
Is actually like I think um he didn't encourage me to start my own company actually. He prefer me to he would like me to like secure my job inside the big corporate, but I said that actually like it's my own life. I would like to make my own decision, and he said that you should have the limitation, like for example, if I could not make the company successful within 2 or 3 years, you should go back to the big corporate. This is his advice, but finally is I'm still lucky. So still have my own company finally.
Was there a period of time when you started your company or how long was it until you were able to take a salary?
Almost 3 years later. Yeah,
Wow.
it's
So you had saved
yeah,
money up during that whole time you were
yeah,
working, so you
yeah,
could,
for
wow,
real.
but 3 years, that's a long time.
Yeah. It's
But
quite a
clearly it's
challenge.
paid off.
Yeah. But I think if we make that kind of decision, you might need to make sure that you still have like the money in your saving account, have the enough money that you can survive.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's
Mm.
that's the hard part of companies running out of money or the entrepreneurs running out of money.
Mhm.
Was there a time you thought to yourself, you know what? I'm out of my mind. I should never have left my good job with the big corporation. Were there times that you thought that, and how did you get through it?
About the tough time, about the, for example, like a financial cash flow, right? I think we need to plan about the worst case scenario. Always think about the worst case scenario. What will happen if you make this kind of decision? So normally, for example, like during the COVID situation, I have like 3 or 4 scenario that running in parallel, that if I couldn't pass the COVID situation, what will be the next one? What is the next plan? So you should think about the worst case scenario, the best case, and also the best case. So you will know that what is the next plan that you have to do.
So was there ever a time that you were like, oh my God, I got to get out of this. I just can't deal with this anymore? Or how did you handle that mentally? How did you trick yourself into keep moving forward without just giving up?
I think that because I'm not, I don't think too much about whether I can do it or not, but what I'm trying to think is solving the problem. I believe that the problem is like a part of our life. It's just like a small part of our life. When I passing this problem, once I can solve this problem, the next problem is also like waiting for me in the next few years as well. So I think it's like facing the problem is just it's just a part of our life. It's quite similar to be like a Mario inside the game. You will see the next obstacle that okay, our enemy is coming, so I have to fight. And after that, after you can pass it, that is okay. It's just a part of your life. So don't think too much about the problem, but let's think and turn it to be like an opportunity. It's like a challenge and opportunity, and yeah, enjoy your life as much as you can during your running the business.
Did you have partners when you started, or did you own the company all by yourself?
I have the co-founder actually, but right now they make decision to exit because when we grow up, we realize that we have the different passion, we have the different dream. And right now I'm like almost like a solo entrepreneur.
So, what did you learn from having a partner? What was the good parts and what was the challenging parts?
To have the partner, I think is good if we can complement each other and support each other. But if the skill set is quite similar, I think that to be the solo entrepreneur, I think is good because we can make the decision faster. But if we need that, okay, if we can run this company without some of the domain expertise, and we need some partner. For example, like if I want to run health tech, for example, if I want to run a health tech startup, I'm not a medical doctor. So I might need to appoint a medical doctor to give me the advice. But if you don't really need the domain expertise, I think that to be the solo entrepreneur is fine.
I've done 30 startups. Almost all of them, I
Really?
didn't have any domain expertise.
Oh.
But like you said, I would find people who could partner with me that actually had the expertise in
Yeah.
it. But I found that even without the expertise, I could get up to speed. Like after 1 year, I knew just as much as I would ever need to know.
Yeah, we will not know that what kind of the skill set that we need until we run the business for a while.
Yeah, I think it's all unpredictable until you've done it, for sure.
Mhm.
Was there somebody in the entrepreneurial world that you looked up to that is kind of a role model for you?
I don't have the that's only one role model. It's like
Yeah,
a
a role model,
image.
or maybe if it's not a role model, maybe there was somebody who mentored you and they
Yeah,
added a lot of value to your learning.
yeah. I have a mini mentor who give me the advice in particular area. For example, like I'm also like before I starting the Techsauce company, I have exit one of another tech startup company, which is a social media monitoring tool. And at that time, I made decision whether should I exit or still keep going. So I have the mentor who helped me because he have this kind of experience before. So I can learn from the guy who can give me the advice. And I believe in part of the, I believe that mentor have this kind of same experience before and passed that kind of the situation. So I can learn a lot from them.
What's the biggest failure you've ever had, and what did you learn from it?
The first one is, I think that when I exit the startup last time, I think the most important thing is you need to know that when and where we should exit. I mean, we should know what is the right time, what is the right situation. If we want to exit, you need to think about that carefully. For example, as I mentioned, last 10 years ago, that kind of the software that a startup are focusing on the social media modeling too. And I think that right now it's quite hard to survive if we still keep going and develop this kind of the solution, because right now the social media the social media platform right now, they always change the algorithm and have the AI technologies that always changing the way how we work. So if we still make decision, I think that we cannot exit the company in 2020, but we still have the opportunity in 2010 if we exit at that time. So when we make decision to exit, I think it's really important. It's like a right time, the right place.
Is it easier now to start a company today, or is it harder now because there's even maybe more competition and the technology has made it easier for the barrier to entry is much lower? What's your take on that?
I think it depends on the industry. If you jump into the e-commerce platform right now, I think is a red ocean. We have seen like there is a big player across Southeast Asia. But if you are like a food tech startup, if you are like a health tech startup, med tech startup, yeah, we realize it's quite hard for the startup to find the investor. But if you have what is your unique selling point, if you realize what is your the the barrier to entry, if you can create what is the key advantage, I think you still have the opportunity, but it depends on the industry that you are focusing on.
And is there, when you're investing, do you just invest in Thailand, or are you open to any kind of company in Asia?
In Asia, because Thailand is like too small at this moment, so we have to sourcing the startup pool from all around the world, actually, not just only in Asia, because my partner, they also invest in the climate tech from Scandinavian as well.
Is your partner in Scandinavia?
We don't have the partner in Scandinavian, but normally because my partner, he has a connection with the Scandinavian tech communities there, so they always send the good deal to us.
Understood. Do you read any books or listen to podcasts about entrepreneurship? How do you keep current about different things in entrepreneurship?
I still read a lot of book, but sometimes I don't have enough time. So trying to listen the podcast that summarize the book for me. But at the same time, as I mentioned before, that I think learning from the experience is really important for me. So I always have like small dinners or small lunch together with my mentor, so they can still give me the advice, and yeah, and their insights allow me to reflect on myself as well and better understand how to handle the different situation effectively.
Understood. So what's your prediction for your own business over the next 5 years? I mean, 10 years seems too long. Maybe even a year might be too long because things change so quickly. But what's your vision for where you see your company in the next 5 years?
I think that currently we have the Techsauce Global Summit event in Thailand, in Vietnam, and Indonesia, and but we're trying to create more deal flow between these three countries, and hopefully that we can expand to other country as well. I still cannot mention which country that I would like to go at this moment because we need to do some market research. But we hope that we can have like a 4 country footprint to run a Techsauce Global Summit in Southeast Asia.
I have to say, you're doing a great job. And
Thank you
one
so
of the
much.
things I find interesting since I've moved to Asia from the United States is the number of successful women entrepreneurs is amazing. Vietnam's
Thank
got
you.
tons of women entrepreneurs. I never hear of women saying that there's a glass ceiling here in Asia. I only
Mhm.
hear them talk about what their vision is and how they're trying to execute on their ideas. And I know I've met so many successful women entrepreneurs here. Why are so many women um, really good entrepreneurs? Well, what's in the culture that makes women such terrific entrepreneurs in Asia?
I think I cannot reflect for the whole Asia because each country has a different culture. And let me talk about and focus on Thailand. I think that we are quite open. We have seen there are many, not just only female founder, but at the same time we have seen like a top management in a big corporate also very open to support the female to sit in at the C level and also at the board level as well. And I think it because like the female we believe in the diversity. It doesn't mean that we support the female to have like or give priority for the female or believe in the female capability, but we believe that the diversities, the power of the diversity can drive more productivities, can also drive the creativity inside our own communities, our own organization, and at the nation as well.
Well, I think statistically, Harvard's done studies on that and found that to be totally accurate. Well, I want to
Mhm.
thank you so much for taking the time to allow me to interview you. Uh, I'm so impressed with what you've done. And I'd like to contact you about getting you involved in a national high school business plan competition I plan to run in Vietnam, see how we might collaborate.
Yeah, thank you, and hope to see you in Vietnam, also in Bangkok as well. If you come to Bangkok, we would like to host you and also invite you to be guest speaker at our main conference.
Oh, I would love you. If you invite me to Bangkok, I will come.
Yeah, yeah, please come. It will be on 4th to 6th of August next year in
Oh,
2015.
well,
So, sorry, 2025.
yeah, no, it would be great. Thank you again so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.